Welcome to a special Broadcastpix and Switchboard Live webinar event. Thanks for joining us. We're going to ask the question today, what is multi-streaming and how does multi-streaming benefit a community media station? We're going to explore these questions today with Adam Dusenberry of WCTV. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining us. And he'll share his experience of utilizing the integration that our two companies have recently completed between the Switchboard Cloud platform and Broadcastpix, our Broadcastpix production switches. We're very keen to get a user's perspective on multi-streaming, how easy it is, how hard it is, how it works, what it does, etc., etc. So please join me in welcoming our partner, Mr. Rudy Ellis, who's the CEO of Switchboardlive, and also our special guest, Adam Dusenberry from WCTV. Hi, Adam. Hi, Rudy. I hope you're both well. So, Adam, you've been a long time Broadcastpix user. I don't even know how long, right? Quite a long time. Could you give us a bit of history on your relationship with us and what you're using from us?
Sure. Good afternoon, Graham and Rudy. Thank you for having me to discuss Broadcastpix and Switchboard with you guys today. I started with Broadcastpix back when I was a volunteer in Wakefield, WCAT, and they purchased the actual serial number has been up for debate, but one of the first Broadcastpix Targa units from you guys back in the early 2000s, and I've put in units. I put in a unit in Winchester when I was there. I upgraded a unit in Belmont when I was there, and this GX behind me here in Wilmington is a fairly new unit for us here. So. And of course, I have my own Flint that I use for my own side business as well. So, I've been with you guys for quite some time.
A long time. It was making my, I don't know what the word is, my hair standing and talking about Targa cards and things like that. The early days of digital video in computers. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. So right now you have a GX. How do you kind of use it what do you use it for and how do you use it? Let's ask that question.
Well, the GX is here in our main control room in our studio, and we use it for basically all of our studio shows. With COVID, we've been doing a lot more, actually seeing a lot more live shows as we do shows that would normally have been in person, like our library in town used to do, or before COVID used to do presentations in the library. Now we've partnered with them and they're doing their presentations here in our studio so that we push them out live so they can still present them as they would in normal times. We're getting to do a lot more entertainment recently. We've brought in a bunch of performers. We're doing a big live spectacular with a local well-known a cappella group on Saturday. Here. So the Broadcastpix is getting a lot more use than it did when we first put it in, where it was just basically talking heads talk shows. But that's the one we have here. And we also have a Flint, an FX in a rolling box that lives over at the high school that we use for our portable system. And that gets a lot of use, particularly with our sports coverage. We're getting into winter sports coverage in the next month, so it'll get some use there. It's got use with concerts over there. We've used it on our 4th of July celebration on the Common. Both systems are getting varied use with us.
Great. We're known, I mean, we were one of the first guys that kind of integrated all the functionality into a single piece of software. So we're fairly well known for our comprehensive tool set. We also like to pride ourselves on trying to make the product easy to use, and the whole ease of use side with macros, etc. You got any feedback or maybe your favorite feature about our systems and how you like to use them?
I just kind of like the idea that everything is integrated and it's all, particularly in community media, a lot of times, there's one person sitting in this room producing a live TV show, and having the ability to have everything all in one control surface in one system is wonderful. Before we put the GX in here, we had a traditional switcher, graphic station, playback station, everything like that. And I felt like I had to be an octopus in here when we were doing our big election night coverage, tried to do 3 stations at once. Broadcastpix, the integrated, makes that a whole lot easier. And at times I've been the only operator in here doing these live shows, these music shows that I just talked about. Recently I've been training cross-training some of our staff, some of who have never sat in a control room, some who haven't used a control room in years, to take over some of that responsibility. So finding that ease of use and that all-in-one is probably the biggest benefit I've found as well. So you also mentioned the macros as one of the things that sets Broadcastpix apart. And I do find myself using macros and snapshots for building the complex effects, double boxes, complex graphics, bringing in the Twitter feeds from BP Fusion, that sort of stuff. I find it easier to build that stuff ahead of time in pre-production, and with the macro recall, I don't have to set up everything live every single time I want to recall it. I also built for a producer in another center when I worked in Belmont. He was really nervous about the opening of the show he was directing because there were a whole bunch of commands and button pushes all within a very short period of time. So I built a macro for him that basically ran that open for him automatically, so he didn't have to worry about the timing or getting the right button pushes and that sort of stuff. So for the novice users who want to add that element of production, it certainly is a big help for them.
Excellent. Because you still use a lot of volunteers, right? Am I correct in saying?
We do. Community media is almost entirely reliant on volunteers. We here in Wilmington, we have a staff of 3 full-timers, a couple of part-timers, but in order to do the shows that we do, particularly these bigger shows that we're doing and we're getting to do, we need the crew, we need the volunteers, and I'm not always available to sit in this chair, or my boss isn't always available to sit in this chair. So it's nice to have the volunteers who know how to do it and can run a show, fairly, even if it's a very simple show. They can do it themselves.
Yeah. So one last question from me, and I'm an old switcher guy, and so I better hand over to Rudy, who's going to talk about streaming. But the transition from sort of traditional broadcasting to more OTT and social channels, would you say that's been a success for you guys? And how much sort of live versus streaming? What's your kind of percentage these days?
Well, we are first a traditional television station, first and foremost. We have our channels, they go out on the cable providers, and people can watch them there. But with a bunch of people and our viewership kind of transitioning away from the traditional cable or TV way of getting their content, we and other community media centers are looking at the streaming. We already do push our channels. We simul stream, I guess is a term, our 3 channels on our website. We have video on all of our content is on demand. Some of our bigger shows, we will add more shows we think the community will want to watch. We push out to our Facebook Live. And now with Switchboard, which I assume we'll probably be talking about, we're also exploring, other ways that we can get our content out for the people who aren't watching us on the traditional way on cable TV, so that they can see, if not our entire programming, at least the big stuff that the community would be interested in.
So with that said, I'm going to hand over to our simul streaming expert, our business partner, Mr. Rudy Ellis, to talk about the streaming side.
Yeah, no, thanks, Graham. It's definitely good to hear how, you're, like you said, you're a switching connoisseur, and just hear how things have evolved, especially with Broadcastpix. It's amazing. And your expertise, obviously, Adam, is definitely warranted as well. So it sounds like you've been pretty busy. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about this, Adam, like your streaming schedule. Like how many hours of content do you guys typically produce, in a given period?
I'm not the right person to ask that question, but we do a lot of our stuff is pre-taped, and we run on our channels as tape programming. And again, that our channels are live simul-streamed on our website. We have been doing, like I said, because COVID, we've actually been busier for the past 9 months than we've been, for quite a bit, because we've been offering our facilities in a reasonable and protected way to community members and organizations, to, like I said, the library, still getting their programs out, which normally they will hold in person at the library. We're now streaming. We're doing them live here in the studio and streaming them out on our social media pages. These musicians who have gigs that they normally go out to, they're coming in to use our facility so they could do live streaming. This upcoming concert that we've got, we're doing the week before Christmas. We're doing a Zoom with Santa. So we're with all the Santa meet and greets in town that are canceled. We're inviting Wilmington community and beyond to come on a Zoom call with Santa here in the studio, and that will be live. So we find ourselves we're doing our regular tape programming and whatnot, but we find ourselves doing a lot more live streaming, a lot more government meetings. We're doing government meetings that I never knew existed because the town has now come to us as a way, since they can't hold it in person, as a way to get make their meetings available to the town. And we live stream them. Again, the big ones we put out on our social media pages. They go on our channels, of course. So we've actually seen an uptick in business and production over the past 9 months. And it's actually from a production guy's standpoint, it's actually really been fun and really been great. So,
would you attribute all of that increase in just work and obviously broadcast? Would you say that would be directly related to COVID? Is that like more of a positive challenge, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly with the meeting coverage. I mean, there were times when when COVID was in the height of it over the spring and summer, we were doing 5-6 live meetings a week, and it's certainly been, yeah, I guess if you could, for us, if you could say there's something positive that comes out of the COVID, is yes, we've been busy, and we've seen all these new shows come out, and again, while doing it carefully and safely and all that sort of stuff, and everybody who's done it has loved it and been very happy that we've been offering that service. And like I said, not just live on our channels, but also streaming to social media and that as well. Yeah.
Do you anticipate that's going to obviously continue with regards to? So you mentioned the term early on, which was awesome to hear you say that the simul stream, right? That there's definitely have been some like new terms that have kind of been birthed out of this whole new like subcategory. So you had your traditional live streaming, and to your point, right, you have simulcasting or simul streaming and multi-publish, and we typically use multi-streaming, right? So like that's the term that we use for our products as well. So do you anticipate more of usage around just multi-streaming or simulcasting in your mind, whether it's internally or externally?
Well, like I said, the big question for the community media industry and community is what is happening with the traditional cable. Where are the viewers going? And like I said, off the front, we are a TV station first and foremost, and we probably still will be in some respect. But viewers are moving away from that as the way that they're getting content. So finding streaming solutions, whether it be like the simul stream that we're doing now or the special social media streams for the big shows, is something that community media is gonna have to do if they're not already. And like I said, with COVID, that's kind of taken off, at least here in Wilmington, being able to push this content to as many places as we can to get as many, eyes on it as we can. Totally
agree. That's, I mean, if there was a model for Switchboard, that's it right there. It's all about as many eyeballs, right? You put on a good piece of content or produce a good piece of content. you want to make sure people tune in, right? You want to make sure people are watching it because, that's a level of success, right? So we totally agree with you on that for sure. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the integration with Broadcastpix and Switchboard. You've been a Broadcastpix user for a number of years. What are your takes on, being able to use Switchboard integrated within Broadcastpix and the ability for you to do more from a multi-streaming perspective?
Yeah, I look forward to that. Again, getting being able to get our programming out to the multi platforms. Right now, pre a Switchboard solution, we have our just a simul stream of our channel hooked up to our Facebook Live, and it only goes there. With this situation, we could go live to our channels. We can go live to our Facebook. We have YouTube streams set up for all of our, for our government, our Wildcat TV and our generic. So we could go there. We could go to these library shows. We could go to the library's Facebook page, directly, So being able, again, it's about getting the eyeballs on the stuff and being able to, where normally it's okay, it's just going to our Facebook page, WCTV's Facebook page. We now have these other places where people might see us. We have people who like to use YouTube and browse YouTube. Okay, now we can put these big live shows on YouTube, on our YouTube channels as well, get more eyeballs on it. And the integration with the Broadcastpix is nice. You don't have to have a separate computer doing the streaming or OBS or anything like that, or external hardware. Just being able to go in and select the sources or the destinations and be live, is a great integration, and again, time saver and usability. Again, one user, you don't need somebody else monitoring an OBS or setting up an OBS or an external encoder or something like that. It's all right here in front of me when I'm doing the show.
It's awesome. No, that's definitely good to hear. I mean, and honestly, that's like, music to our ears, because that's why that integration was built, right? We wanted to make it easy, make it simple, continue along the line with Broadcastpix, just integration as well, of just simplifying your workflow, because based on what you're saying, you have enough to deal with right now, and it's increased, right? So I totally get it. Have you had a chance? I just want to make sure, from a clarity standpoint, have you had a chance to use Switchboard, multi-streaming services with the stream, since you've come aboard? And if so, do you think that's allowed you to gain a larger audience with that?
I have used it. We had the opportunity back on Veterans Day. The town usually does a ceremony down on the common at the memorial, and again with COVID, they were restricting in-person access, and the town asked us to stream the event live. So again, seeing this as an opportunity, we took that event, Switchboard to be able to again send this event, which is normally a very heavily attended event in town, out to the multiple platforms so that it could get out there as far as many places as we could. The other thing we had was 3 weeks ago, our girls varsity soccer team was in contention for the league championship, and it was the final game of the season, a very different season. And so we knew it was going to be a game that people wanted to watch. So again, we made use of Switchboard to get it out on Facebook, our channels, the Wildcat TV YouTube channel, so that again, we could make sure wherever people were or wherever people were looking, they could catch that, that game. So we plan to do more in the next few months with it as well.
Well, we definitely have to check out the is that the Santa Zoom show that you were mentioning later this you said coming up in a couple weeks?
Yeah, the 19th, I believe. Whatever the Saturday before Christmas is, that's when we'll be doing it.
Okay, cool, awesome. Is there anything you'd like to share with other media producers about just the streaming capabilities or multi-streaming capabilities? Love to hear your thoughts around that, and especially if they're looking to expand, their audience.
Well, I think, I think that's just, that's just it. I mean, if you're looking to expand your audience, then yeah, you're going to need to get on as, many platforms as you can. Obviously there's the commercial ones, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, all those, but you can also, streaming to your own. My side gig, one of my biggest my biggest client is the New England Music Awards, and we stream their show, that we live stream their show every year uh, to a third party streaming service that they then put on their website. So having that ability to do not just the big commercial ones, but the other third party, streams, so you can put it really any place you want, and and that's what you need to do if you want to get the eyeballs on it and get people to see it. Is you can't be relying on one destination, one location to for people to see the stream. The more streams, the more people are likely to see it.
No, it makes total sense. It's kind of like putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Not a good thing for sure.
Right. I mean, I again, I had a client who insisted that, even though I personally don't care to use YouTube myself or professionally, but I had a client who insisted that, okay, we got to put it on YouTube because that's where the people are. That's somebody's going to more likely to come across it accidentally on YouTube than they are on Vimeo. So again, getting your stuff, not just live streaming, but any of your stuff, your content, getting it out as many places as you can, it increases the chances that it's going to be seen.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Well, cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the time today. Adam, if you have any, final thoughts you would like to say, feel free to kind of chime in.
No, I mean, it's just, everybody is out there creating content. And in fact, with COVID, we're seeing more and more streaming content and, video on demand content. And if content maker, just go ahead and do it. There's no reason why you should stop doing it. And even if you're not a video producer, video tech, if you're just doing something, a lot of musicians are now using video and streaming since they can't play live. So just get the content out there, and and so people will find it, your fans will find it, and again, put something out there. But I mean, if you could dress up the production value, even if you don't go to the extent of a Broadcastpix, obviously everybody here would love that to happen. But just a little bit of extra production value, we'll get your content noticed a little bit more, rather than just putting a SD webcam in your living room, but anything you can do to make it a little more eye-catching, a little more pleasing to watch would probably benefit you in a huge way.
No, totally agree. Well, Adam, I really appreciate your time. Graham, I think this was tremendously fun. It was definitely insightful to learn a ton about what you guys are doing there at United Station, and how you're looking to use Broadcastpix along with Switchboard Live. If folks would love to learn more about Switchboard, you can definitely go to our website at switchboard.live. Follow us on all the social channels, that Adam mentioned: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, as Switchboard Live. Graham, I'd love to, learn, how can folks learn more about Broadcastpix and all the cool products you guys are offering?
Same deal, broadcastpix.com, all our social channels. If you fancy being a black belt producer like Adam, just check along. We've got how-to videos. And I have to say, Rudy, I do think this is a very valuable partnership. You hear a lot about partnerships, and you think, but this one, being able to do all that, what new word did we invent? Simul-streaming.
Simul-streaming, yeah, exactly.
So we've invented a new word, and we're hopefully providing a great solution to our joint customers.
Totally agree. Well, Adam, Wilmington Community Television, we appreciate your time. Again, Graham, we appreciate your time as well. We definitely look forward to another conversation with another Broadcastpix and Switchboard Live power partner. And for now, take care and bye-bye.
Stay safe and well. Thank you.